We are in the Manistee National Forest visiting Benton Lake National Forest Campground. As we visit the campground, you have your typical National Forest campground sign, and surprisingly, all of the roads through the campground are paved and very well maintained. At first, I thought I was entering a state park setup. It was so well maintained. Bear must be an issue here because you have your regular dumpsters that do have latches on them to help keep the bear out. And this campground has two main loops. When you go to register, you have to register at campsite number 5. Either this registration pole is broken, or they just want you to register with the actual campground managers, which are camping at site number 5. There is a small spot for visitor parking, and by small, I mean quite small. Just a handful of vehicles would fit there, and it's just a grassy patch. I wouldn't want to park there if it had heavy rainfalls. Going into the actual campground itself, you go 2 different directions. There are 2 loops here, and right off the bat, you come across one of the first outhouses of several that are situated throughout this campground. They're very nicely maintained and actually have scented wicks in them so that you don't smell any of the odors that you would typically smell in one of these outhouses. Moving on, we come to some of our campsites across here, which are very nice campsites, especially if you're pulling a RV trailer or a pop-up camper. Every campsite has a flat pad to park your unit on. Every campsite has a bear pole made out of wood, and every campsite has the picnic table and standard campfire ring. I'm going to go through here and show you several of these campsites. I don't hit all 24 because that would just take way too long here. One thing I'll also note about this campground is there's no bugs. I had one little gnat bother me for a while, and that was it. There are a couple different marked trails that you can follow here that go out towards the lake, but there's not really great access for the lake if you just take these trails to the edge. It's pretty overgrown with brush, and when you do get down close to the lake, it's pretty mucky. So I'm going to walk up to the edge here just to give you a quick view, and then we're going to move on back to the campground because that's really what we're here for. Heading back to the campground, we continue to look at some of the sites. And again, the majority of these are super nice sites. Whether you're going to pitch a tent and just want the privacy of one of these sites, or you're pulling a pop-up camper, it doesn't matter. There is no electric or water hookup, but there are 2 of these water stations by information stations here. So this one I'm noting because it does talk about bear being in the area and give some tips on avoiding bear issues. And then these are nice little water setups. You don't have to pump anything. You just twist the lever right or left and your water comes right out. So these are well-driven water spigots. Here's campsite number 1. I kind of did the walk backwards here. Another outhouse. I believe that's one of 5 or 6 that are situated here in this area. They're not all around the campsite. Some of them are over by the park area, which I'll show you at the end here. This is campsite number 5, where you would register to camp in that mailbox, along with another outhouse. There's a big solar panel behind it, one of 2 solar panels, and another water spigot that operates the exact same as that first one. We're going to take a look at a couple more campsites before we head down to the trail that sign says leads to the docks and the beach area. We're going to walk up into this campsite here a little bit, and there's the sign for the trail. So we're going to follow this a short ways, and it leads to this really nice picnic and recreation area. It's a huge area. There's a covered gazebo over there, a few picnic tables, several grill spots for grilling with charcoal, and this is what they're referring to as the beach area. It's actually pretty small, but it'd be a great spot to launch a kayak or a canoe if you wanted to. There are some little fish swimming around down in there, so I'd imagine farther out it's a nice fishing spot. And then the trail continues to this parking area for the people that are just here for day visiting and using that canopy and the park area. And then farther down the road, we actually come up to another parking spot, which is for the boat launch here, where there is no dock at. And some of the signage says there are fishing docks, but I don't see a single dock along this area. But the boat ramp is a cemented in boat ramp. So overall, this is a really nice campground. $22 a night, but the money is meant to upkeep the campground. I would definitely consider staying here.